It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome into another episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive. I'm Zachary Smith. That is Alan Saunders. And Alan, it's a Friday. However, no DB. And actually, no DB prediction as we sit here. I'll throw him under the bus. I don't care. We're supposed to have this prediction that we promised people yesterday. Whether or not we get it during the course of this episode, who knows? If not, maybe he'll, I don't know, leave a comment in the YouTube video with his. Either way, we like putting people on the spot here.
Short with DB's.
Yeah, maybe.
Prediction.
Who knows?
We never have any content on Saturdays. Maybe we'll get that.
True. All right. Well, I hope that that's the case in some form or fashion. We'll get DB's prediction to you guys, but that's what we're here to do. Talk about this matchup and then give our predictions for the way that this is going to go down Sunday in Ireland. Pittsburgh Steelers, Minnesota Vikings. Before we get there, Alan, we got to figure out who exactly we're going to see and who we're not going to see. Deshaun Elliott, no injury designation, so set to return for the first time since that season opener against the New York Jets. However, we got 3 players questionable, 2 of which at the beginning of last week, we wouldn't have expected to see that tag attached to. That's Joey Porter Jr., Jonnu Smith, Jaylen Warren. What do we know about this situations?
Jaylen Warren, questionable. We mentioned him wearing that leg sleeve at practice as far back as Wednesday. I think he'll play from everything I'm hearing, but may not be 100%. It doesn't seem like it's anything major, but he may be somewhat limited in terms of the workload. And then Jonnu Smith, I really have no idea. Popped up with the hip injury. I saw him. He didn't seem injured, but still listed as limited, questionable to play. If you're limited in what was essentially a walkthrough over in Ireland today, you'd be pretty limited. So I don't know what that means. I'm somewhat skeptical about Joey Porter Jr. playing, like we talked about with that hamstring, also questionable. So that's kind of the 4 guys. Watch for Deshaun Elliott back is a big deal for the defense, certainly.
Sure. I was just, you see Jaylen Warren and Jonnu Smith, and I was kind of, at least in my mind, that's a good point about the walkthrough. I wasn't necessarily considering that. We know without that probable tag, they would have to be listed as questionable, even if there was any question. They're doing another walkthrough tomorrow, and maybe more clarity there. They'll change those statuses going into Sunday potentially. But I was just wondering if that was the case, if that probable tag was still a thing, if that's what we would see for Jaylen Warren and Jonnu Smith. But with you putting it like that, if you're limited in a walkthrough, I don't know. Maybe there is something more to it.
Yeah, I just don't know how, you got to be pretty limited to be limited in a walkthrough. We'll see. There is another walkthrough tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they have a chance to update these statuses, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Was there anything else that came out of the last 24 hours before
Art Rooney talked over in Ireland? We heard from him a little bit. I think the 2 big things there were clarifying that, the league is involved in the schedule. That's something we had talked about, but nobody was really on the record as saying. Said they picked the timing for their football reasons, but the league is involved in the process and they want it to be equal for both teams. That's the important thing from the league's perspective. And it was both teams coming over Thursday night into Friday morning. And then that he wants to go back. And that was my morning rush this morning, talking about how I feel like this is a waste of a trip if the Steelers only ever go once. And that really, if you want to make the international thing into something that provides value to the teams and not just to the leagues, they have to be able to build a fan base in an area. And I do think the Steelers have an opportunity with the Rooney's connections in Ireland to really build a fan base there. And that is going to involve going back. So we'll see how this plays out. I know they want to play in Mexico City. I know that they want to play in Dortmund. What's the rotation look like? How many of these are they going to play? We'll see. I'm interested to see how this goes.
I was going to ask, in terms of how often you felt like it should be a thing, because there's probably I don't think it needs to be the way that the Jaguars are with London or anything like that. But I was wondering what your perspective on that was, especially if they're trying to go to other locations too, obviously. So
yeah, I think once we get to the 18 game schedule, which will be coming sooner rather than later, everybody will have one overseas game a year. And honestly, I feel like that's better. It's more fair. Right now you have some teams that are going and some teams that aren't. And 17 is just a dumb number anyway. So like, give me the 18 games and put one of them overseas every year. And I'm fine with that. And then, I think you will see then whatever you'll see the rotation be that teams will use, you'll be losing a home game every other year, but of course you won't really be losing it because it'll be the game that you're adding, right? So you're losing the preseason game, which nobody likes anyway. And then I think that's a good thing, but I don't think it's a good thing if you just like dartboard the teams all around the globe. Like it's good for the league, but it's not good for the teams. Like the Steelers, only way to make this good for the Steelers is if they start building a presence in Ireland that is big enough to make them money in Ireland to bring back to Pittsburgh to spend on the team. Like then it's beneficial. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, I think we're going to see them play in Mexico City, and I think we're going to see them play in Dortmund probably in the next 10 years. And it wouldn't surprise me if we get a return trip to Dublin sometime in that range or shortly thereafter as well.
I'm actually, I understand why this happens, completely different stadiums. So it's like, it couldn't work like this. But if there was going to be an international game, it'd be cool if it was included with the season ticket package that I pay for, not just the opportunity to buy the tickets for the international game.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be nice.
You know what? Let me prepare a rant. And maybe this is what my rant could be about. I'm not going to do it right now, but maybe this is what it could be about. No, but we do want to dive into the. Oh, actually, I have a question for you before we get into this any further. Obviously, you're not over there covering the team, covering them from afar back here. What have you made of doing that? It's basically you're in like my seat right now.
Yeah, I kind of hate it.
I figured you would. I know that
it is convenient. Like, I mean, I understand why like lazy, shitty outlets do this all the time because it's really easy to just like roll over on the couch and be like, oh, something happened? Great, I'll write about it. And never have to be the person who is making the things happen. Yeah. It's a lot easier job that way, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I know how much pride you take in your work. Obviously,
I'll tell you how like
on the ground. So
I'll tell you how like seriously I've been like thinking about this is like right here on my desk for like the last week. I've just been like, just in case, like just like make like we'll just leave our options open until the very last minute. You're not gonna
tell anybody, and then you'll be like, "Are you ready for post game?" And then you'll pop up, and you'll be from Croke Park.
Yeah.
No, but all right. Let's dive into this matchup now. We've obviously started to preview it yesterday. This is the day that we normally really dive into it. Let's start with Steelers offense against Minnesota defense. I think that's the side everybody's so infatuated with because of Brian Flores' presence as the Vikings defensive coordinator. What stands out to you about this defense, and what's going to pose so many problems for the Steelers? I know that we touched on yesterday some things about it, but either rehashing or just maybe things that we didn't bring up.
I think this is a really good defense in that it gets star level contributions out of non-household names. Like I think like real like football people know who Harrison Smith is. But like I guarantee he's like
I think you're gonna bring the other safety, like Josh Metellus, I think is like super like in that.
But even Harrison Smith, who was a first round pick and has been a multi-time Pro Bowl kind of player, like I guarantee that dude's like going to Walmart and not getting recognized. Like Jonathan Greenert, Javon Hargrave, like Isaiah Rodgers. These are people that like they're really good players, but there is no star. Van Ginkel, I guess, like he's not even really a star.
Out,
like, there is no star on this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Van Ginkel's out this week. There is no star player on this defense. They are extremely good 1 through 11 though. Like there's no star, but God, like who's the worst player? I Jalen Redmond, I guess. Like there's not, and he's not even like a regular starter.
Yeah, who's the other off-ball linebacker? Eric Wilson.
Yeah, that's probably the worst player. but like
Yeah.
that's not bad. Like that's
Mm-mm.
and gosh, if you got to have a position where you have bad, like off-ball linebackers, I think it's just a really consistent, really solid group of talented players, really smart defense. I don't think they have like overwhelming athleticism, and so I think like you can out-athlete them. I'm not sure the Steelers are the team to be able to do that, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just like, and not only because like they're just good players, just super smart. I think you have
Yep.
to have a bunch of smart guys to play within this defense. And the reason that I brought up Josh Metellus is like not a household name, but like just such a heady dude that can wear so many different hats for this defense. And like for a Brian Flores defense to operate, I think at the level that this defense is right now, you got to have at least one guy like that. Like Van Ginkel, I know is the guy in the front seven that is kind of like that. That's why he brought him over from Miami. But on the back end, like I think you got to have a guy like Josh Metellus to kind of make this whole thing work on the back end for Brian Flores and why it's gone so well. So I think he's a super underrated player that not enough people talk about.
Yeah, I agree. Isaiah Rodgers obviously had the huge week last week. I'm not expecting that again out of him, but he's a good player as well. Jeff Okudah is a guy way back to the draft I've always really liked. Same with Byron Murphy.
Yes, I'm a big fan of Byron Murphy. Actually, to the point about Isaiah Rodgers, like, yeah, good player, but I think more people know him because of the gambling thing than because of like how talented of a player that he is.
Yeah. So like I think like the areas that the Steelers can attack on this defense is catch and run. I don't think they're great athletes on the whole. I think DK Metcalf loose in space is probably something that's keeping Brian Flores awake beyond the jet lag. I think Calvin Austin in space is dangerous against this team. And I would think that Jaylen Warren in space would be a weapon, but I don't know, how much that knee injury is going to impact him. But even if he isn't able to go, I think this could be a game where you see some real contributions from Kenny Gainwell in that area, where I think this is a team you can screen. I think this is a team you can sort of dink and dunk to death a little bit. And I think the Steelers do have the personnel to do those things, even if they can't really out-athlete you down the field.
And I hesitate to say this because I know that it hasn't shown up yet. But if that's the case and you come out doing that and you have success doing that, and then like you have them maybe commit to that, maybe you have an opportunity on, a double move or something to take a deep shot at some point in this one, especially because you've talked about yesterday with the at times over aggressiveness that this defense can create.
This defense is just going to straight up leave guys uncovered at a level that I've never seen in the NFL. Like they're going to blitz irresponsibly. Like that's no other way to say it. And so there will be guys open, but the thing is like it's going to require really, really rapid recognition from Aaron Rodgers because there's not going to be time. Like it's he's not going to have time all day to do much more than those little dinks and dunks. But I do think if you can maybe get a max protect in there, maybe move the launch point a little bit. If you can protect him just long enough, like I like DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin down the field against these corners. You just got to protect Aaron Rodgers long enough to get him there.
I mean, we've even seen Calvin make some like in contested catch situations be able to make some plays for sure. I don't know. At some point, not just like recklessly, but you got to take, I think, a shot or two at some point in this one. Just because of personnel, I think is going to dictate that. So also, we talked about during Seahawks week, the sim pressure stuff because of Mike McDonald. Brian Flores right now doing it the highest rate of anybody in the NFL.
Yeah, he's doing almost 30% of the time. I thought the Steelers handled it pretty well against Seattle. They've been doing it a little bit more themselves, so the offensive line has been kind of seeing it in practice a little bit. I think this is a really tough test for the Steelers offensive line in that regard. It's a mental test. Physically, especially without Van Ginkel, there isn't really a guy that scares you here. There isn't a Will McDonald that's just going to line up against Broderick Jones and take his lunch money. Hargrave can do that, but I think the Steelers will probably double him a whole bunch. And so I think this is the challenge with the offensive line is all mental, not physical. It's can you deal with communicating, passing, identifying. That's how this defense stresses you.
So it'll be Jonathan Grenard a lot on the edge, and then Dallas Turner, who's obviously had a heightened role. Actually started the season on injured reserve, but came back and actually, looked pretty good in action so far. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the big thing is just the different looks that they're going to get thrown at them. I know I keep going back to this point, but going back to Aaron Rodgers and how much emphasis he put on that joint practice with Tampa Bay and why he thought it was so important was because that's a defense that throws different looks at you and exotic stuff that they weren't going to see throughout the preseason. So that was probably as good of a test as they've had up to this point before playing this defensive front. So definitely
Rodgers last year, 3 interception game against the Vikings. So something to keep in mind there as well.
Did the Jets and Vikings play internationally?
Yeah, I think that game was in London as well.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was an international game. All right, flipping the script then, unless you have something else to say about Steelers offense versus Vikings defense.
No.
Okay. All right, Vikings offense going against the Steelers defense here. Again, we kind of set this up on the table yesterday to dive more into today. But with what they do offensively, KOC has a ton of answers for stuff that beats cover 1, cover 3, what the Steelers have played a lot in. How much will, you said you don't think that Deshaun Elliott changed a lot for them in terms of disguising and rotations and stuff like that. They really need to get Joey Porter Jr. back into the fold for that. So, how do you feel like this matchup sets up for the Jordan Addison back into the fold for the Vikings as well? How do you feel like this matchup sets up?
I kind of think the Steelers can deal with this if they can stop the run. I think that's the real big question mark here. Jordan Mason to me is not special, but I mean, neither is Breece Hall, neither is Kenneth Walker, and they couldn't stop those guys. I'm not even sure he's as good as those guys, though. Like, I don't think he's a dynamic threat on the ground. I think they should be able to bottle him up. I don't think this Minnesota offensive line is overwhelming by any stretch. I really love Brian O'Neill, going back to when I covered him in college. Christian Darrisaw has been banged up, but
Ryan Kelly's back.
He's a good player on the left side, but like in the middle, they're very older in some areas. I think you should feel good about the Steelers defensive line, especially now with another week under Derek Harmon's belt, another week under Y.A. Black's belt, the way Daniel Akawale has played the last 2 weeks. Cam Hayward's been just on fire. I think I feel good about the Steelers defensive line, but they have to stop the run. If they can't stop the run, they can't win this game, period. Because a guy like Carson Wentz, you've got to get one-dimensional. And he's not very mobile. He doesn't throw a platform the greatest. You got to get him on one-dimensional so that you can let your edge rushers pin their ears back and go get him. Even though Darrisaw and O'Neill, I think, are the best of their offensive linemen, and even though Alex Highsmith is hurt, I'll still take Watt and Herbig in that matchup if they can get them into some third and longs. I think that's the real key for this game for the Steelers.
I mean, Herbig gave Will Campbell fits, and Darrisaw's a better player. Darrisaw's one of the best left tackles in football. He's also just coming back from injury. And I think, Herbig's just such a unique pass rusher. It's really going to challenge how much he is, near 100% physically, I think, in this one. So I'll be keying in on that matchup early on for sure. Jordan Mason, I think, is a good running back. To your point, though, he's not as good of a pass catcher as Breece Hall is out of the backfield. He's not as good as just a pure runner as Kenneth Walker is, or explosive as a runner as Kenneth Walker is. So, yeah, I mean, I think if it's going to be about what they can do up front. How do you feel about, the off-ball linebacker play in this one? Do you feel like this is going to be more of a matchup where they can play downhill? Do you think they're going to be asked to do more things in coverage? We talked about TJ Hawkinson, maybe still coming back from that knee issue and not looking the same physically, but still a very good receiving threat. What's your, thought on that those guys?
To me, this is real easy. Josh Oliver's on the field. Holcomb's in the game. He's not. Wilson's in the game. Like that's I think you can. I almost think you can do it 1-to-1 there because like they don't really go heavy other than with Oliver when they play 2 tight ends. He is just a blocker. Put Holcomb in for that. Leave Wilson in to help cover Hawkinson and Mason coming out of the backfield, who is not a dynamic receiving threat, as you said. Their backup is Xavier Scott. I know very little about him, but he doesn't scare me, that's for sure. And so I think this should be They have Cam Akers on the practice squad. Maybe they'll bring him up. They probably should. But I think this matchup is good for both defenses, even though like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, very good. I think the Steelers were built for this. They were built for the Bengals. Even though they don't have Porter, I think it's reasonable to expect their secondary to be pretty locked in on this one. We'll see how it goes, but I mean, I think they can cover these guys. And Carson Wentz doesn't scare me, but I have real questions about the run stopping because that has been just such an inexplicable thing through 3 weeks now.
Sure. Yeah, and I trust Brandon Echols out there to take, the matchup that he's given. Speaking of matchups, though, is it going to be, in your opinion, just Jalen Ramsey given that Justin Jefferson matchup, or is it going to be based off alignment?
Okay. No, I think it'll be different guys, and I think there'll be some double teams in there too. But yeah, I mean, I think they'll probably play a little more cover 2 than they have so far in this game, just because both Jefferson and Addison are guys that can take the top off it, and you kind of have to be, or maybe quarters. You kind of have to be cognizant of both of them. And I'm not sure they've really played a team that has that kind of weaponry yet. And so I think this game has to be a little bit more balanced. And I don't know if that's what you're doing, that you need to really feel like you're matching guys up.
So then what, from a personnel standpoint, predictively here, which DBs do you think we see get deployed more? Because I think it's like a question of, you get the Sean Elliott back in the fold, but who is it playing next to him primarily? Or is it going to be 2 of Jabril Peppers, Chuck Clark, Juan Thornhill? How are they going to deploy those?
Yeah, guys? I think probably a lot of Clark and Thornhill. I don't think this feels like a big Jabril Peppers game for me. See how things play out. Put him in the same package as Holcomb, I'll be interested to see if they'll play Peppers next to Elliott against heavier looks, because that's a pretty dynamic tackling safety duo if you feel like they can cover. And I'm interested to see if they'll go down that road.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Anything to say that side of the ball? That side of the ball?
No.
Anything else on your mind for the matchup? What do you make of? I guess before we get into predictions, then this has been a big discussion point. I guess just the coaching on both sides of this. The coaching matchup is a bit of a chess matchup in your mind. I mean, I think KOC is one of the better ones when we talk about offense. I think Brian Flores is one of the better ones when we talk about defense. So, how do you feel like that whole thing goes?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brian Flores is one of the best coordinators, offense or defense, in the whole league. I think KOC is a good offensive coach and a good, gets the most out of his quarterbacks, puts players in good positions. In terms of an in-game coach, though, I think sometimes I find him a little bit lacking. And we'll see how he handles the travel here and that aspect of it. And I mean, they did have that game last year against the Jets, which is a lot more recent experience than the Steelers have had. I don't know. I think this is a good test for the Steelers all the way around. Kevin O'Connell is a good offensive coach. Don't get me wrong. And he is de facto their offensive coordinator as well. I mean, I don't know if he still calls the plays, but he basically does. And so we'll see. I don't think the Steelers defense will have a big problem with Kevin O'Connell on offense. I do think Brian Flores is a problem for everybody.
Okay. All right. Let's see if this plays into our predictions. All right. So I will, I don't know. Do you want me to go first? We'll go back and forth.
What are we doing first here? Where are we going first?
Well, bold predictions, of course.
Predictions. But what side of the ball? Where are we going first here?
We started with talking about the Steelers offense, I guess. We'll start with Steelers offense for bold predictions as well.
Steelers offense.
I guess offense in general. Maybe your bold predictions in regards to the Vikings. I don't know.
Okay.
I know DB went that route before.
I think I have as well. I'm going to say that we're going to get, I don't know how bold this is. I think we get multiple Caleb Johnson carries. Is that bold enough?
Ooh, okay. My prediction also involves Caleb Johnson. So I like it. So there's been a lot of redemption games, if you will. Sticking along with that theme, we get a Caleb Johnson, a little bit of redemption here. Stuff going on with Jalen Warren. I do think he's going to play and still play a good bit. But I got Caleb Johnson scoring his first career touchdown in this one.
Oh, so you just took my prediction and you're just
Mhm.
like, no, not bold enough. Screw you, Alan. I can do. I'm just gonna dunk on this real quick.
It's my theme. I had a theme last week was good things that the fans are still kind of upset about. This week, my theme is redemption for guys. So you'll see that reflected in the defense as well.
Yeah, plus 2,200 on the Caleb Johnson touchdown scoring prop. So
I'm legitimately going to bet it then. I don't always bet my bold predictions, but if that's the case, why not throw a little something on it? Those odds. That's crazy. All right, I'll start for the defense then because you start for the offense. My defense won, like I said, sticking along with the theme of redemption here. Much maligned Peyton Wilson right now. Peyton Wilson's getting a turnover on Sunday.
I'm going to predict the Steelers knock Carson Wentz out of this game.
Oh, who is their other quarterback?
You
mean literally like he's injured or he's playing so poorly?
I guess could be either. Max Brosmer is a rookie.
Yes.
Desmond Ridder they signed. I don't know which one they're intending to be the backup, and I haven't looked who was the third last week, and it was the second.
News to me in regards to Desmond Ridder being on practice squad, I'm assuming.
They just signed him when McCarthy got – no, he's on the 53. They just signed him when McCarthy got hurt.
Okay.
So I don't know which one will be the emergency or somebody to back up. I'm not saying out for the game. I'm saying he's going to get hit hard enough that he at least misses some time.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Somebody's going
to light up Carson Wentz. That's my prediction here.
Do you have any other I don't like last week I had a third one because I had special teams flipping. Do you have any other?
The Irish really it feels like all the European crowds, but the Irish crowd will especially be enthused for field goal kicking. I will predict a Chris Boswell is let go from, let's say, over 56.
Okay. I wish I would have really thought about this more and done something with. Do we have any Irish players?
No. I mean, McCormick and McCollum have Irish last names, but they're not actually, they're not from Ireland.
Also, Alan, I just got sent a video from Derrick Bell. So we do have his predictions. It's a 3-minute video. So we'll play it at the end here before we wrap up, but we got to give our final score predictions, I guess, before we do that. I hate to do this. I don't like the matchup for the Steelers on Sunday. I'm not saying the game is unwinnable by any means. However, I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. I'm picking the Minnesota Vikings to win this game 24-17.
I was worried we were going to have the same score again. I'm also picking the Minnesota Vikings. I also have the Minnesota Vikings scoring 24 points, but I've got it closer, 24-23.
Oh, that hurts. How's the game end? That's what I need to know in your situation because, let Boswell kick it from 80. No matter where they're at on the field.
How's the game end? I'll guess a turnover in a desperate scramble drive for the Steelers.
Man, that hurts. All we got to do is get pause and
the Vikings take the lead with 21 seconds left or something like that.
Oh.
They've got to try to get back down the field and get into field goal range, and they're just not able to. There's the prediction.
It didn't even happen, and it hurts. Man, I really hope that doesn't happen. Because here's the thing. I've done a pretty good job of eliminating my emotions from the Steelers. Like, obviously, love the team. But a couple of years ago was like, man, I can't let a team that I have literally no say over how things are going during a game impact me like this. So I get upset in the moment, move on very quickly. But certain games, the way that they go down are incredibly frustrating and heartbreaking. That would be one I'm not sure I'm recovering in 24 hours for Misery Monday.
Well, you have a whole week, so you got plenty of time to recover.
Oh, in the bye week, they didn't even get the taste out of their mouth right away.
Just
hold on. That's awful. Yeah. No, that's really bad. All right, before we close out,
I will say, you're lamenting my prediction. You did not say it's a bad one.
No, I mean, I hate it. That to me is the
You'd
worst
rather lose by 7, is what
yes.
you're saying.
Yes, I'd rather lose by 2 possessions than 7, even, because, like, as frustrating as it was, I'd rather have them lose a game like Seattle, where it was like you knew the game was over before.
What if? Let me just throw this out there. The Steelers have had 3 games. They've won 2 and lost 1. They have not played particularly well in any of those games.
Mm-hmm.
What if they outplayed the Vikings and lost instead of the other way around?
I mean, the thing to me is, like, this is the portion of the schedule where I thought they had to be 3-1 going into the bye.
Agreed.
To feel good about it. So, like, I mean, you could.
Although maybe the injury to Joe Burrow changes that a little bit. Since he in week 7 on the Thursday night was looking like a sort of auto loss that now, maybe won't be.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, to me, like I said, these ugly wins are kind of just like buying yourself time to figure things out internally for the long run. But
I will say this: I think win, lose, whatever happens in this game, the bye week is in the right place for them. They absolutely need it right here.
Yeah, I said that this past week on the pod. I don't remember what day it was, but I was, very similar feeling just because of where they're at. You feel good about getting Joey back after the bye, and who knows what Jalen's dealing with, but hopefully, a week off will get him back to maybe not having to wear that sleeve. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And also just with how things have gone, maybe a week to just figure some things out. I don't know. But, all right, we'll throw out the DB, see what he's got. We don't know what these are. Literally just got sent this, so no idea what he's going to predict, but let's see.
It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
What's going on, everybody? I apologize for missing the preview Friday. You guys are going to have to forgive me. I will try to make it up to you guys, but I want to jump on here, record my predictions so that you guys can hold me accountable, of course. But my bold predictions for this game in particular are Jaylen Warren is going to have his first 100-yard game since November of 2023. I think if the Steelers are going to win this game, it's going to be on the ground. This Vikings defense, if they are susceptible to anything, they can't get run on outside zone. We know that's the Steelers' primary scheme of choice. We'll see if they're able to actually be effective with that. But I think that the Steelers are going to try to keep themselves out of 3rd and long situations. And if they're able to do that, I think they've got a chance in this one. But my bold prediction on offense is that Jaylen Warren has his first 100-yard game since November of 2023, 18 carries last week. That was the most he's ever had in his career. I think that there's a chance that he could get even more than that on Sunday in Ireland against the Vikings. My other bold prediction is that there is going to be not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 interceptions in this game. Flores does a lot of really creative stuff on the back end, can make it really difficult to play against. He had a really strong performance and game plan last year when the Vikings faced off against Rodgers Jets. A lot of similarities, a lot of carryover with the passing game situation. Steelers pass game struggling a little bit right now, definitely searching for answers. And then on the other side, Carson Wentz stepping in for JJ McCarthy, who's still out. Wentz was okay last week. He made a couple really nice throws. I also think that there are still signs of him being pretty careless with the football, and that's just really been the MO of him really throughout his career, is that he can make some mistakes. I think the Steelers, now that they're getting a little bit healthier, getting Deshaun Elliott back, I think it'll be a really fun matchup between, the Steelers edge rushers and the Vikings really good offensive tackle duo, but should be a really good one, really fun challenge for the Steelers. Ultimately, I do unfortunately have Minnesota winning this game. This was kind of one of the worst matchups, I thought, for the team when the schedule really dropped. I just have a lot of respect for Kevin O'Connell. Brian Flores, I think it's going to be difficult for those guys to kind of overcome what I think is a coaching advantage really on the Vikings side. So I'm going to say that the Steelers keep it close, but it's probably a game that ultimately ends up in the Vikings' favor. I will say 23-17. Steelers make it really interesting late in the fourth quarter, but ultimately come up short before they head home. Back to the U.S. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekends. I'll talk to you guys very soon.
All right, DB said Jaylen Warren issue be damned. He's doing over 100 yards. I know he didn't give you ultimately the team result that we wanted.
Kind of swerved me a little bit there. I thought he was speaking very positively. Thought he was going to pick the Steelers, and then
Jaylen Warren over 100 yards.
DB is going to be the one to make us look bad by taking the Steelers while we didn't. No, he's
Warren over 100 yards. Wentz puts the ball at harm. It was all sounding good.
Right? Good. How does Warren throw 2 interceptions? Oh, sorry. Wentz throws 2 interceptions. Warren goes over 100, and the Steelers lose. Well, I guess that's my scenario, right? I guess that's it. They outplay them, and still the 2 Aaron Rodgers picks, I guess, maybe. Isaiah Rodgers, 2 more pick sixes, something like that.
Yeah, he's only got 1, but then that second one comes on that final drive when they're only down by a point. Oh, that would kill me.
Yeah.
If they turn the ball over on that drive, and it's not just
we have
on
24, 223s, 224s, 223s, and 217s in our scores. So it was 24-17, 24-23, and 23-17. So one of those combinations is going to be good.
There you go. So if you are a person that is a lunatic and literally bets the exact final score, because you can do that, there you go.
Sure. Yeah. That's insane.
Do one of those. Alan, we will be back for Steelers Now post game earlier than we typically are following.
Yeah, we'll be going pretty much right after the game ends, I think. So
yeah, and hopefully I'm in a good mood if it happens. I mentioned for Monday for afternoon drive. I wasn't even considering post game. If they lose in your scenario, hope somebody's on speed dial. Hope somebody's on speed dial. No, but until then, Alan, tell the people they can find you.
Saunders_PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. PGH Steelers Now site's account. SteelersNow.com. Go there and read the words so I can get paid. Sign up for SM Plus. You'll get access to our subs only live stream, which is coming up on Monday at 6 p.m. Me, Smitty, DB, and probably some of the rest of the team. You have to be an SM Plus subscriber to get access to that. So go over to SteelersNow.com, click on the membership tab in the top right. Get yourself signed up. It costs $4.50 a month or even cheaper if you do it annually. And it really helps us do a lot of cool things as a company that we really are appreciative of. And anyone can subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel. That really helps grow all of our shows and reach a bigger and bigger audience. We have 16,700, and I feel like we've gotten this number so many times, but the Steelers have so many great players. It's okay. 73. I will go. I feel like we've named most of them. I'll go Ray Mansfield. Go back to the old Ranger for that one.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's somebody that I haven't said recently. Obviously, I've given Ramon a ton of flowers on here. I think I've thrown out Kendall Simmons in the past as well. I mean, the late great Wolf has been mentioned so many times on here, but he's obviously, if he were mentioned every podcast, it wouldn't be enough.
Ramon.
Who am I missing?
Wolf.
Yeah, Ramon.
Kendall Simmons, Justin Strelzik, the current Isaac Seumalo. Then you got there's some weird ones in there.
I got it. I got it. Another shout out to somebody else on the beat. Joe Rudder, we're going Jesse Davis.
There you go. Carlos Davis, the nose tackle. Also.
Yeah. Yes. There we go.
And my favorite Steelers player literally of all time. The pride of Brownsville, Pennsylvania. a member of the Duquesne University Hall of Fame,
Wow.
who wore 73 as a running back in 1946 in his 2 games with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The late, great Max Kielbasa.
Oh, what a last name.
Max Kielbasa is the most Pittsburgh name you
Is that how it's spelled
possibly
even?
have. Maximilian Max Kielbasa. Steelers legend, not really, played 2 games. Legitimately a Duquesne legend, the pride of Brownsville, PA, and the best name of any Steelers player ever. Your tailgate might have some kielbasa, but it does not have the Max kielbasa. No.
Yeah. Did he marry Minnie Parodies?
I don't know. I can't speak to his personal life. I just know he's in the Duquesne Hall of Fame, went to Brownsville, played like 2 games for the Steelers.
Okay. All right. There we go. I'm going to assume that that's nobody else that's going to comment on here's favorite number 73, but
I did like the Lambert memories, and I will give my favorite Jack Lambert memory from yesterday that has nothing to do with him playing. It's his Kennywood commercial. You can look this up. It's on YouTube. It's his Kennywood commercial for the Raging Rapids with Myron Cope, where Cope is like wearing like a yellow rain jacket and just hamming it up the whole time they're on the ride, talking in his sort of clever phrases, and Lambert just holds onto the handle and looks miserable the entire time.
I've never seen this.
Absolutely perfect. You got to go find that. I think it's on YouTube somewhere. But that's my Jack Lambert memory right there.
I'm gonna have to go through and read those. By the way, I will fully admit this. This is me throwing myself under the bus. I don't look at the comments before Friday's episode because I know what we're doing on Friday. So I apologize. I got to go through and see what you guys had to say about Jack Lambert, but looking forward to doing so.
I will send you the link so that you can put it in the description.
I'm probably just going to tweet out the video as well, like no context as well, just so everybody can see it. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit us in the comments, just like everybody else did about Jack Lambert. I promise that I will read them now. Leave us a 5-star review and subscribe. If you're listening somewhere else, Apple, Spotify, wherever your podcast's from, we are there. Just search Steelers Afternoon Drive. Do the same thing on TikTok, and you'll find me everywhere at Zachary Smith, PGH for Alan Saunders, and myself. Thanks for jumping in and taking another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.